Good morning. How y'all doing? All right. I'm waiting for this to come on. While I do, I just wanted to, it's coming, it's coming. Here it goes. Here it is, awesome. All right, good people. It is good to be here. To be brutally honest with you, it is a joy to come here. I've been excited about this time and thinking about this challenge for a while. When I was thinking about the ideas that I have, I came up with maybe 6, 7 ideas. Yeah, I figured y'all got that. The reason why I mention this is, and I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of quotes or things that you all say. Miss Wang did a masterful job on that. I'm not going to try and follow her, but the reason why I mention that is because it's a way that we. Well, one of the things is a 6, 7, and even things like our good French, where you get squibbity. Remember that one? They are what you call shibboleths. They kind of bring a group together, and if someone like me says it, it is awkward, and I understand that, and so I'm not going to go too much into that. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is legacy, who we are and who are we becoming, and what as Brooks is about 100 years old, what is Brooks' legacy, and what is your part in that? So I want us to think about that. And one of the questions I have for you is, how do we keep our uniqueness together, and how do we even understand that? So one example I had, okay, this is going too fast, so sorry. There we go, is our legacy. Who are we? And one of the things I was gonna ask, anybody who's not from Massachusetts, how do you pronounce that? Worcester. Worcester. Any others? All right. Worcester. We know it's Worcester. And it's not just, you don't even say it Worcester, you kind of have to say it dismissively, like, why are you even asking me this? That's the Massachusetts way, all right? And so the reason why I say that is that one of the things about uniqueness and how we, like I said, it's a shibboleth. The shibboleth is a linguistic word that kind of puts a group together. Like I said, 6, 7 is a shibboleth. It's like this part of this group. If you say it and you're not out part of the group, don't even go there. And what makes Brooks unique? What are our Worcesters? What are our things that make us stand out and make us who we are? And what is our legacy? So that's one of the things I wanted to do and think about. One of the things that, as I was thinking about, is what is our mission? And how can we find our mission and understand that even though we strive to be try to be perfect and try to be the best Brooks person we can be, sometimes, as Miss H would say, we can be walnut trees. And so the question is, how do we do that? And so one of the things is that we have to sometimes acknowledge that we all make mistakes, and grace is needed in love to get past suffering, trauma, and to get to healing. Justice is also important to help with this. But if our focus is just on justice and thinking of eye for an eye, that's definitely not enough. That's why I love the song Amazing Grace. That's the song we just sang. And it says, through many toils and snares we have already come. And the suffering that comes from, is mentioned in that story, comes from a man who was a ship captain. And as a result of being a ship captain, what he ended up doing is finding himself being the captain of a slave ship, several slave ships. And one of the things is that he finally figured out that was not the right thing. He figured out that was not the way to go. He wrote this song as a part of that, as a part of his fixing of the process. So John Newton, not the other Newton in my physics class, John Newton was the guy who helped Wilberforce. I don't know if you know who he is. Some of you might have heard of him. Get slavery abolished in England, and as a result, even through some of the places throughout the world. Brooks, like John Newton, has choices to make. We sometimes make mistakes. Individuals in Brooks make mistakes. I'm one of them. But you know a tree by its fruit and its leaf, and how it deals with storms. And that's the question I have for you, is how do you deal with that? Grace doesn't depend on suffering to exist, but if there is suffering, you will find grace in its colors, just like the trees. A couple weeks ago, y'all remember we had to use the hymnals? So one of the things about legacy is that the class of 2018 wanted to leave a legacy. What happened? Everybody remember what happened when we sang the songs? Well, I don't know about pennies falling out, but there was the cards. The cards came out, and the cards were a class of 2018. There's still one in that light right up there. I don't know if y'all can see it there. They tried to keep that as their legacy. And so when we opened them up, they all fell out. And so that's one of the things about this process, is that it's one thing to try and keep a legacy, our name remembered, but the real issue is, what's the heart of the matter? How is our heart something that allows others to stand on? And so that's one of the things I want us to think about. So what makes us unique? Well, I've been here on and off for a while, so that's one of the things that that gives me a unique experience. I even got here before Mr. Packard, would you believe? This is back in the day. This is some of the legacy that I inherited. It was Mr. Burbank. For those of you who know Mr. Burbank, I have some of the folks. I have the old-fashioned gospel choir there. I have the old arts building that's there. We played Sega in Peabody. So that's in the foosball table. That was there in our house because we didn't have a common room. That was back in the day. I mentioned some of that. What about what's going on now? I want to get a little bit of a shout out to some of my classes. Anybody here from Bozeman? Nobody from Bozeman, my class? Nobody? Y'all leaving me hanging? I know. Okay, what about Challenger then? Anybody from Challenger? Oh, y'all leaving me hanging? LeGuin? Anybody? All right. I won't go too much in there. But the thing is that I named my classes for a reason. You guys became part of a team, and I appreciate the group. Here's some of the new folks. Some of y'all know who Perry is. But these are folks who have gone from Italy to working on projects, going to Stowe. When we went to Stowe, guess what we had? Process, because we couldn't make it. We didn't make it in time to try and see the eclipse. But we were able to see it because that was part of the legacy of that trip. Some of y'all are going to hate me for this one. Here we go. This was last year. Do you have sound? We don't have sound? Oh, forgive me. Oh. Now, the reason why I mention this is that you're dealing with, folks doing K-pop dance, at Brooks. This is part of who we are. And during, our cultural day, it was just something that makes us who we are. Sound? No sound? Oh, well. Oh, well, that's okay. One of the things I want to get to is, what is grace? Grace is getting something you don't necessarily deserve. And one of the things I really appreciate about Brooks is that I was able to get the Murphy Grant last year. And it was something that was out of the ordinary, and I was able to use it to go visit Japan. And again, you understand your uniqueness and the legacy of a country by going to visit, by doing research, by seeing all of the little things that are there, like the deer who stand outside of 7-Elevens, and they have a team lab which is full of virtual plants and animals. Yes, you have Godzilla and other things in there. I was going to mention part of the legacy of any place is that we make mistakes. And that's what I was trying to say about grace. And so Hideo Shimizu is the guy up at the top. He was a Japanese soldier at 14, about the same age as some of you guys in here. And he was essentially made to be part of Section 731 in Japan. They did chemical testing. They did a whole bunch of atrocities in China. And one of the things is they made a memorial a year ago or so, and he made a point to go there and to say he was sorry. And the reason why that's key is that a lot of people in Japan did not want him to do that. Some of his family members essentially disowned him at that age because he went over to China to say something that he knew he was part of, that he was sorry. And this is, again, part of the legacy. It's not just merely just, saying everything's all well and good, but it's owning even your own stuff. So we're going to talk about this. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm going to get to that. All right, so long story short, what I want you to do is to think in terms of this process. So I check my time. I have my time. What makes us unique? What makes us unique is not merely the things that we say we are doing or just saying we're part of a team. What makes us unique, or even the number of wins you have, what makes you unique essentially is some of the struggles that you go through. For example, we know that, let's say the varsity basketball team last year, what made last year special for them is the struggles that they had to go through, not merely that they won the championship. Am I right? Mm-hmm. But one of the aspects of this, you're killing me, Smalls. One of the aspects of this is knowing that our legacy is stuff that makes us up from our uniqueness. When I went to Japan, I saw a lot of things that were Japanese and stuff like that, but one of the things that stood out to me when I was walking on the street, I saw a flamenco dance studio. Anybody know what flamenco dancing is? What is it? Oh, no, it's not. It's Spanish, right? It's very enthusiastic and all that. I put a picture not of Shinobu Price, but of someone who was doing flamenco. Come on, there it is. That woman right there is doing flamenco dance. Shinobu is part of Brooks' legacy. She was from Japan, and she was a star at flamenco dancing. What makes that special is that that's part of thinking outside the box and making sure you understand that you're more than just where you come from, but it's what you value, what you care about, and how you go through some of those challenges. So with this in mind, I just want to make sure that we think about these things. We are people who are coming to 100 years. What is your part? And I want you to think about this question. Did it again? There you go. Really? What choices will you make? What songs will you sing? What will you leave behind for others to stand on? What will your Brooks legacy be from the heart, not merely from the card? Knowing and valuing where you are, who you are, and what part of being a healthy person is important, but being like the guy from Japan who had to say, I am willing to give up friends and family to do the right thing. That's part of his legacy. And so one of the things I want you to think about as we leave this place is, as Brooks comes to its 100th, we have to acknowledge that the grace we have has been given to us, and we didn't do everything on our own. This place was given, the land was given to us by Russell. Mr. Russell was the one who gave us the land, and it was on Indian land before that, and it had to be here for us to be able to take it. I encourage us to value the voices and uniqueness of Brooks. Remember your individual and collective legacies, those things that make you unique. It's more than the card, like I said, that fell. Your legacy, Brooks' legacy, comes from your heart and how you use it and the grace and voice of its individual members. How we choose to use what we've been given and use what we've been given courageously to even ask for forgiveness and to fix our mistakes, then we can leave a legacy that's actually worth keeping, that people will build upon. We stand on the shoulders of other people. All the people at Brooks that came before us, we stand on them and their legacy and the things that brought us to be at this place. The question is, where are we going to lift this place up for the people who come after us and use our gifts, but also our choices to love, to care, to even make mistakes, and to ask for forgiveness for even those mistakes. All right, guys, for those who are about to live, I salute you and I value you all. Blessings.